What's going on, party people? My name is Solomon. I am an artist, and thus I go by Solomon the Artiste. Y'all know what it usually is these days. Shoot a audition, self-tape, and it's like, I just did that. Let me take advantage of the fact that I did my mustache and I got the camera up and going. So, and of course, as usual, I never have anything planned. Although, you know what? I'm gonna start with this. I have been working on this idea and act of forgiveness, and it took me some time to realize that it wasn't just a matter of forgiving others. For one thing, forgiving others who may not even know that they've done wrong, or forgiving others who have no intention of apologizing. But I've also had to learn and realize that I need to forgive myself, and in forgiving myself, that's brought me to also realize that there are things that I need to fix, So that brings me to this particular thing. So I'm going to start from where I'm going to start some years back. So when I was in high school, I've mentioned this before in other videos, I was very unpopular, very insecure, suffered severely with anxiety. I didn't know that's what it was back then. I thought I was just super shy, but I've grown to learn that I was just severely anxious. And that manifested itself one day when I was on the bus. So I'm going to go back a little bit further. When I was in the 6th grade, when I was in junior high school, I was in advanced classes. And so one of the students in my class, I'm not going to say his name, but if I remember correctly, I think he also went to my elementary school. But in any case, he used to get in trouble a lot. And looking back now, I realized that he used to get in trouble because he was just bored. He was so smart that what we were learning, even in our advanced class, was just boring for him. So he would just give trouble. And so because of that, his mother would have to come to the school very often and, whatever. So because of him getting in trouble, he would often get suspended and things like that. And so his mother, I guess she just saw me sitting at the front of the class one day, and she needed to be able to keep up with whatever the homeworks were and whatever. So she approached me, I remember, and introduced herself. I knew who she was, obviously, but she asked, "Is it okay for me to have your number, and I will give you mine, and I will talk to your parent. You seem like a nice young man. I just need to find a way to be able to check in and ensure that whatever homework assignments were assigned is what my son took note of." And I said, yeah, sure, as long as it's school, pertaining to school, my parents were all for it. And if it was helping someone to, focus on their studies, my parents were all for it. So she did that, and I remember she would call me almost every day and ask for the homework assignments and then eventually it sort of slowed down. I think she must have started getting hectic with him or something. I don't know. But I remember it started to slow down, but then she would call once in a while and ask about specific homework assignments. That's not even relevant to the story. The point is, in calling her and whatnot, I don't know what to call it. I can't say that I developed a friendship with this woman per se, but I definitely developed a rapport that was more than just that of, because the thing is too that she was a teacher herself. I think she was a teacher in a high school though. So in any case, junior high school finishes, graduate, move on with my life, and now I'm in high school. So I think I'm pretty sure I was in the 10th grade at this point. I remember getting on the bus one day after school. I think it was after school hours though. I'm pretty sure this was while I was doing some musical, still doing musicals, doing some musical in high school. And I'm on the bus, I'm on the Q3, and I used to always, like, if I got to the bus stop and there was a line and I knew that I couldn't get that specific seat that I wanted, I honestly would let the bus leave me and I'd just wait for the next bus. That's how bad my anxiety was. And so I remember, I don't remember if I had to, whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is, I got on the bus and I got the seat that I wanted. So if you're from New York, because I think buses in other states are somewhat different to a certain degree, but in New York, and buses have changed actually since I was going to high school, but either way, the seat that I loved was when you got on the bus, you get on the bus and there are 3 seats to your left and to your right as you walking through the bus, and then on the left side there are like double seats and basically love seats, and then on the right side there are singular seats. I used to love that front singular seat because, for one thing, I was close to the front of the bus. I was too anxious. I had too much anxiety to have to leave through the back door. And if you remember, that back door was sometimes very tricky. If you didn't press that button or push it properly, it wouldn't open and the bus would like start driving off while you're still in the bus. And I had too much anxiety to have to yell out, "Still on the bus!" And, you know, I was too scared. So I would sit right there in that seat because I knew that no one could sit next to me. I would wear my headphones so that I wouldn't have to, even if the music wasn't playing, I at least had my headphones on so I could pretend that I didn't hear an adult, or this sounds so bad, or I wouldn't hear an older person who needed to sit. I would just sit there with my headphones on and just have my eyes closed or whatever. This particular day, I didn't have my headphones. I don't know why, but I didn't have my headphones. I didn't have my music. And I'm sitting on the bus and I'm minding my business, and I hear this voice from behind me, like from further back in the bus, and I hear someone say, "Oh my God, Solomon." And I knew the voice. It was her. It was this guy's mom. And I didn't respond. I didn't turn around or anything, because in my head I'm just thinking, crap, if I turn around, she's gonna want me to converse with her. I'm either gonna have to get up and go to wherever she's sitting. She might want me to sit with her, or even if there's no seat next to her, I'm gonna have to get up and go closer to her to have a conversation, because I'm not gonna have a whole yelling match back and forth in front of all these people, because the bus was filling up. I think this was after work hours, so it was definitely filling up. And I thought, okay, if I just sit here, maybe she might come to me, and she didn't. And she just kept calling my name. I remember her calling, and she's like, "Solomon." And I'm hearing this. I never turned around, but I'm hearing, "Solomon, Solomon, Solomon." But I know he's hearing me. I know that's Solomon. Solomon. And she just kept getting louder and just saying my name more and more. And eventually she stopped. And I looked at one person that was sitting like in one of the seats like right before me, and she just kind of like looks at me and looks at the woman, and she has that look on her face of like, you know, that embarrassment for that woman. And I'm sitting there and I'm feeling so guilty and so terrible. And mind you, again, that was 10th grade for me, so that had to be like maybe 2000, I don't know, 2. It had to be 2002. I graduated in 2003. Graduated a year early. Boop, boop, boop. So I don't even know if that's really a boop, boop, boop. Again, I graduated early because anxiety. I couldn't handle being in school one more year. So I went through the whole process of going to night school, even though I didn't have to. Went to summer school, even though I didn't have to, just to be sure, just to make sure that I could graduate a year early. Whatever, in any case. I've always thought about that moment. I thought about that moment all these years up to now, 2021. So almost 20 years, basically. I've always thought about that moment, and I've always felt so guilty because that woman was always particularly nice to me. I think part of the reason she probably approached me too back in junior high school was because she saw that, I remember when she came to the class was just going wild at the time because she had come and she was conversing with the teacher. I think it was our science teacher, because I think our science teacher, I forget his name, but our science teacher that class was the class where he would get like the most trouble from what I remember. And so when she came back into the class, I saw her look into the class very quickly, and she just zooped right on me. And that's when she approached me. So I think because, again, you know, I had no friends, I was just sitting there quietly looking very studious. And so she must have just assumed, you know, this is a nice young man, in which I was a nice young man, but still, you know, you get what I'm saying. So I thought about that moment on the bus for years, and I even talked about it once on Tumblr. I don't know if you guys remember Tumblr. I think you still can like put videos up on Tumblr. There was a time where you could like film like 2-minute videos, and I talked about it in a 2-minute video on Tumblr. I used to love those 2-minute videos because I knew I could just get across the point. It made me feel like, you know, you gotta get everything you want get everything you want to say out, bada bing, bada boom, and just be done. And so that's what I did. And I talked about it on Tumblr. See, sorry y'all, I get distracted by myself. But I talked about it on Tumblr, and I bawled my eyes out because I felt like every time I would think about it, I feel so guilty because this woman, she used to be so impeccably nice to me. And for me to do that to her on the bus in front of everyone, and everyone I knew, I remember even not getting off my stop on the bus because at the time, I knew she didn't live very far from me. She lived in my neighborhood, and I think I knew her bus stop, but I purposely did not get off my bus stop. I missed my stop just to have an excuse to not, I don't know, I don't remember what it was. I missed my bus stop on purpose just because I just couldn't go. Oh, you know what it was? I think the front was filled, and it would have been easier for me to get out the back of the bus, and that would mean that I'd have to walk past her. And I said, well, I'm just gonna miss my bus stop because I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Okay, I've already disrespected this woman by ignoring her call, and then I'd have to walk through all these people and figure out the back door, and it was just too much for me as a kid. And I know it sounds so stupid, but these were the thoughts I was having as a young teenager back then, you know? So the reason I tell this story is because, like I said, I've thought about this story for this moment in my life for years. And I actually, some years ago, decided I wanted to apologize to this woman. I always said if I ever saw her, I would apologize in a heartbeat. Not knowing if she would ever remember me or the moment or whatever, but I would apologize for it. I gave up years ago because I actually looked up her son's name on Facebook and stuff, could never find it. I saw him once at one point, but back then I was too afraid to shoot him a message because even though we're grown, even if you count 10 years ago at 24, you know, in my mind it's like, yeah, we're grown, but I still remember you as that kid who took part in everyone else picking on me, you know? So, and then he just kind of disappeared off of Facebook, and I just left it for what it was. She crossed my mind again late last year and earlier in the month, this month, January. Lo and behold, Facebook tells me people you might know, and his picture pops up and his name, and I see it and my heart drops. My heart drops because I knew that this is something that happens to me a lot. Someone I may not have seen for the longest time just pops up into my mind, and usually they just appear in front of me. Like I'll go to some random store, might not even be in Queens, New York. I might go to Manhattan, I might go to Long Island, it doesn't matter where. I'll go to some place, and that person who crossed my mind yesterday or a week ago, they end up right there in front of me. And so, even though he did not appear in front of me physically, considering there's a whole pandemic going on and I don't go out that much these days for family reasons, the fact that he appeared on Facebook when I've searched for him before and couldn't find him, it was like, I just took it as a sign. Like, this is my opportunity. This is God telling me, you said you was going to apologize, so do it. You know? Apologize and learn to forgive yourself, basically. And it took me a day or so. Like, I thought, okay, maybe sometimes I feel like God will give us a roadmap, and we look at it and God says, this is the exact road you need to go. Yes, there's an easier way. No, yes, there's a shorter way. But you all know, we've all driven with a GPS. Sometimes the shorter route is the harder route. And so I thought, okay, I don't want to reach out to him because maybe he hasn't matured. Maybe I'll hit him up and tell him why I'm hitting him up and why I want to talk to his mom, and he'll just look at me like, yo, shut up, And so I thought, let me ask other people that I know who remember him if maybe they have a way of getting in touch with his mom, which I did. Needless to say, that didn't work out. So I swallowed my pride and I wrote out this long, lengthy message on Facebook and I sent it. And I said to myself, you know what? I did my part, Lord. Whatever happens, happens. He might see it, he might not. We're not friends on Facebook, so it might go to his other messages and he probably will never see it. I think about 2 days later, my heart dropped again because I get a message back from him. And I'm thinking, all right, he's either cussing me out, telling me I'm doing too much, I'm crazy, it's been however long. Because I told him everything that happened in the message I sent. And I said, I don't know if your mom remembers this happening, but this is what I was going through, and I just wanted to apologize. And, long story short, in respect to his message back, he said, honestly, mom never told me about it, but I'll ask her if she remembers and, see if she'll talk, I haven't heard back yet, and I may actually send back a message. I don't know. Maybe he forgot to ask her. I don't know. But the thing is, I felt so relieved that I made that attempt to fix something. It might mean nothing. Like, I feel like other people would hear this story. If anyone's watching, I feel like you might hear this story and think you're doing too much. Grow up. It was high school. But the thing is, yes, it was high school, but it's still... You ever heard that saying, people may not remember who you are, may not remember your name, but they will always remember how you made them feel? I strongly believe that idea. And what's worse is that this is a situation where I know I most likely made her feel a certain way, but worst of all, I made myself feel disgusting about myself. I never want to hurt anyone's feeling. I've never been that guy. I don't even like contention. I don't like to argue. I don't like to be combative or any of that. And there are a lot of things that I've done wrong in my life, not because I'm a bad person, but because I didn't know how to handle it as a normal human being. Because I didn't know from when I was too young to realize and understand that I suffer with anxiety. I know now, and I've learned how to deal with that. I was too young and naive to realize that I was suffering through a heavy and major depression. I understand what that is now. I see what it was back then, and so now when I have my episodes of depression, especially now as an adult, I better know how to handle it, So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because, this all circles back around to forgiveness. I'm far from perfect. I don't know that I'll ever be perfect, but I am working on myself. I am working on myself as a human being, definitely working on myself and building up myself and growing myself up in my faith in Christ. And forgiveness for others and for myself is a huge part of that. I'm learning, and I just wanted to talk about that because I see that it's doing wonders for me spiritually and mentally, but I also see these thoughts and these experiences manifesting themselves in my art, in my music, in my scripts, you know, in anything that I create. I see these things manifesting there, and so this should be no different. Yeah, so that's that. I have no clue what I'm going to title this video. I didn't even know I was going to talk about this. I just wanted to get it off my chest because it's a necessary conversation that needs to be had. But yeah, if you're watching, if you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching. I would love to know your opinion. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm doing too much, go ahead and tell me in the comment section. I really do want to know. I want to know if anyone else has had this sort of experience. You know, am I alone? Am I too old to be having these thoughts and having these sort of experiences? Did I help you maybe? You know, did you not know that you need to forgive yourself? I don't know. I don't know. Talk to me. I really want to talk. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Don't judge me. In any case, like I said, thank you so much for watching. You're going to see a couple more videos in this same hat and shirt. Maybe I'll take off the hat to make it festive. I don't know. Either way, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Peace.